Well, check this out. Our guest this morning, we've got former Celtic forward Simon Donnelly and former Rangers defender Richard Foster. Good morning. I think you can guess what we're talking about first. What a night, what a game. Celtic 3-0 winners over Rangers at Celtic Park and are now top of the Scottish Premiership. Simon, we'll start with you. And I think the best place to start is Reo Hatate. You were at the game last night. What a performance. 2 goals and an assist. Yeah,
fantastic. This guy has really made an impact immediately at Celtic. Another one of Ange's recruitment from Japan. He's come in and played 4 games and scored 3 goals, but last night was a shade of Lubo Moravcik back in 1999. A couple of fantastic finishes, and I was covering the game for Celtic TV with all the excitement. I didn't realise he'd put the cross in. I thought it was Jota. It was only when I got home and sat down I realised he'd get the assist as well, so that probably says more about my eyesight than anything else. But I think a fantastic entry to that fixture, 2 goals, and I was really impressed with his work off the ball as well. 3 or 4 occasions last night, tracked back 40, 50 yards to help his defence. It just epitomises everything Ange's team is all about at the moment. The work rate's there and the skill and the flair and the creativity going forward.
Richard, we never like to use the word hate, but there'll be a few Rangers fans hating Hatate this morning, won't there? He was so impressive. How are you feeling today after the game?
Just a bit shell-shocked, to be honest. I didn't see that result coming. I thought the game would be a lot closer, but and realistically, it could have been. It could have easily been 5-0 at half time. But yeah, Hatate was. I think the scariest thing for Rangers moving forward is the fact that all the Celtic players and the managers as well keep saying, "Oh, yeah, we need to get him up to speed. We need to get him fully fit." I think, well, if he's this good when he's only half fit, how good is he going to be once he's up to their level? So, fantastic performance. But yeah, it was a result I never seen coming and a performance I never seen coming, because these games are easy to get motivated for, and certainly in that first half, Rangers looked like they were just a bit shell-shocked themselves.
Simon, I just want to have one more word on Hatate. I think he deserves it, doesn't he? Do you think he could go on to become one of Celtic's best ever signings?
Well, it's still early days, but I think what Ange's did, bringing these players to the club, they've all seemed to hit the ground running. There's been no time for them to settle in. And as Richard says there, I listened to Ange, his post-match interview, and it's exciting for Celtic fans if that's him not up to match speed, because he's been terrific since he came in. And I just think the impact of these guys coming in has lifted everybody. It's lifted the guys that were already there. And Celtic, I can only see getting stronger.
Just ask you as well, Richard. We saw Hatate, the impact that he had. We saw in the stands, of course, Rangers' big new signing, Aaron Ramsey. Would you have been tempted to just chuck him in and just see how he would have got on? The occasion, new signing. Do you think that maybe Van Bronckhorst missed a trick there? Or, who am I to question him? But you just wonder what impact it might have had on the rest of the team.
Yeah, I think what it does show is the fact that he's obviously not near fitness yet. I think if he had been anywhere close, he probably would have been involved in the squad, because such a marquee signing, such a big name, that does give players a lift. So it shows you that he's probably still a couple of weeks away from being fit, which is a shame, because Rangers will be looking to get him in the team as quickly as possible, and I would imagine they'll want him to make a similar impact as Hatate has across the city. But yeah, I think the biggest thing for Aaron Ramsey is getting his fitness. You don't want to throw him in too early. I think we've seen with Celtic, Kyogo's came back from injury too early, and now he's missing for a few weeks. Thankfully for them, they don't seem to be missing him. But I'm sure they'll be a little bit nervous about throwing Aaron Ramsey in too soon. There's 14 games left, and they'll want him fit for as many as possible. So if he comes back too early, it might hamper his chances of playing for the rest of the season. So it's one of those where you just have to. It's unfortunate he can't play, but hopefully he'll be fit for the next one.
Yeah, good shout.
And Richard, Ali McCoist was part of the commentary team last night. He called the Rangers' performance appalling. Why do you think it went so wrong for them?
I don't know. I think that the manager spoke about the preparation, and it appeared to be, he seemed to be happy with training and the attitude. But I think they were just blown away by Celtic. I think the speed at which Celtic played seemed to throw Rangers. I think they didn't handle the rotation that Celtic had in midfield. And, in that first half, for large spells, they looked lost. They looked like they were missing, I think when Ryan Jack came on in the second half, he gave them an anchor in midfield and he allowed them to gain a little bit more control, albeit Celtic really, really backed off in the second half because the game was won. But I just think I don't know why they didn't see it coming, because Celtic have played all their games with that intensity and that pace, but they looked like they weren't ready for it.
Ange Postecoglou, Simon, they're now 18 league fixtures without defeat, his team. 9 of the side that starred last night were his signings as well. I mean, he's transformed Celtic, hasn't he? He deserves a lot of credit. And people were questioning his appointment when he first came to Celtic, weren't they? But just explain how he's been able to do this rebuild after taking over Neil Lennon, and how impressed have you been by him?
It's been incredible. It really has. I've liked the way he's went about it from day one. As I say, I keep talking about the recruitment. The boys that he's brought in have really enhanced Celtic. They've gave everybody a lift. He's beginning to get a tune out of guys. McGregor's back to his best. The skipper, Tom Rogic, who almost left the club. The Australian link there, he's been one of the top performers this season as well. But I just love the way he's not had his troubles to seek in terms of injuries, people away on international duty. He keeps to the same philosophy, he keeps to the same shape. He wants to go out and attack. As Richard says there about Celtic starting games really quick. I've been covering a lot of their games this season. They do that. Last night at one point it's 1-0. And yet the worry for Celtic last night is McGregor has 2 or 3 saves. And you're thinking, if this goes in 1-0 at half time, it doesn't reflect on this half. They get the 2 goals before half time. It probably reflects more fairly on the first 45 minutes. But the transformation has been incredible. And as I said, the really good thing for Celtic's point of view and Celtic fans is they're going to get players back. They're without arguably their top striker at the moment. Maeda was away there with Japan. So I just feel Celtic have now got a wee bit of momentum and they're going to get stronger.
Richard, I hate to be the bearer of bad stats, but Rangers have now conceded 3 goals in back-to-back games for the first time since May 2015. Are you worried about their form?
I think so. I think because their success last season was largely based on being very, very frugal in defence. They never gave away a lot of goals, and that allows the team to then go and play with their freedom. When you're not conceding goals, you can go and play your game, attacking football. You're comfortable. You can move the ball forward, and they just all looked relaxed last season. They knew what they were doing. There was no panic. Whereas it seems that this season, because they start losing goals, I think the goals they conceded against Ross County, albeit McGregor's made a couple of mistakes, which is uncharacteristic, because he kept them in the game last night. But even the second goal they concede, Calvin Bassey swings and misses the ball in defence. I mean, these are mistakes we just weren't seeing last season. And Connor Goldson doesn't look like he's the same player. There's obviously that contract issue where he's holding off. I'm not entirely sure what he's holding off for, but he doesn't look as settled. And I think when James Tavernier is still producing going forward, but he looks a little bit more nervous. But I think once the nerves start creeping in and you're losing goals, it's a bad place to be in. So I think that's what Van Bronckhorst needs to do. He needs to get back to, let's make us hard to beat before anything else. And then they do have good attacking players. They never performed last night, but they do still have good attacking players. But yeah, I think 6 goals in 2 games is just not like Rangers.
Lads, you both know, as footballers, what it's like, big derby games, and how that can have a negative effect on the rest of a team's season. It can often be turning point, can't it, for a club? Now, could last night's sort of emphatic win for Celtic, do you think, have a psychological impact on Simon, I'll start with you, on them to sort of go on now and wrap up this title? Could that be the victory that everyone looks back at and says, look, that was the turning point, that was what gave them the belief to go on and win it?
I think psychologically it's been a couple of years. I think the last time Celtic beat Rangers was the League Cup final in 2019. So it's a long time, and Rangers have had a hold over Celtic in this fixture. So I think from that point of view, it's a big result for Celtic. Ange will probably tell you today it's just 3 points. They're only a point ahead. There's a long way to go in this championship title race. I think there'll be more twists and turns. I think both have still to play each other twice, but it's a significant step forward. To think after the winter break, Celtic were 6 points behind and now they're sitting top of the tree. Yeah, it'll bring its own pressures, you know, leading, they're not chasing anymore, but there's still a long way to go.
And Richard, what do you think about this having a psychological impact? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do. I think the fact that Rangers have been ahead for so long and now they find themselves behind, you know, come back from the winter break again with poor form, you know, they've done that before. And I just think that the manner of the defeat as well, I think, you know, Celtic were vastly better all across the pitch last night, all, you know, probably apart from Alan McGregor's saves. Any other position on the pitch and Celtic were far superior. And it reminded me of it was a strange kind of analogy, but it reminded me of an old boxer fighting the new young and up and coming boxer. You know, the guy's on his last legs and this new upstart is taking over, and that's what it seemed last night. That Celtic were fresher, they were more powerful, they just had better quality, and I know it's a long way to go and they play each other twice, but it looks quite ominous, I think, unless Rangers really turn it around.
That's a great analogy, that, to be fair. Yeah, absolutely can see what you're saying, Richard. Right, guys, then this is the hardest question we're going to ask you in this chat about the Old Firm, but who's going to go on and win the title then? And I need an honest answer from both of you. And I think, Richard, I'm going to start with you on this. Who do you see lifting the trophy come the end of the season?
Honestly, after last night, and you know, this might come back to bite me, but I do, you know, Celtic are the favourites for me now. I think just the way they played and the fact that their players are only going to get better. I think Celtic are now the favourites to win the title. I think they will.
OK, fair enough. You've been very honest there. Simon, I mean, you're not going to say Rangers, are you?
No, I'm going to have to agree with Richard.
Well, Richard... oh, yeah, go on, Simon.
Yeah, I think for all the reasons that I've said, I think Celtic are going to get stronger. I don't think they'll run away with it. I think Rangers will bounce back from this. I think Ramsey, if they can get him fit, is a really good signing. You know, he's a top player. He's proved that over his career. It's just questions over his fitness if they can get him up to game speed. But I think Celtic are going to be strong. The lift last night from the result, again, important games coming up, so they need to kick on. But yeah, I'm going for Celtic.